Hello everybody, and welcome back to another Starcraft II video by Konungr, where we watch some of my Zerg videos. So, I did say that I would try not to use matchups that were back-to-back, but unfortunately this is one that I kind of want to post up, and it is a Zerg versus Terran like the one I did earlier tonight. So let's go ahead and get into it. And this is actually on another one of the new maps. This is the first time this one's been on one of my videos. It's King Sejong Station LE, which is similar to the what's that one? Not Yonso, but wow. Oh, Polar Night. There we go. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and do production. Actually, we may hide that for just a minute, but we're setting our base cameras. Let's go ahead and speed this up just a little bit. So, set our cameras, set our enemy base cameras, and then we set up. Now I'm going to open the same way I always do. Pool first, then hatch, work on extractor, and then I would normally be going for a Banelings Nest, but since I'm a good player and I scout, well, I come in. Let's backtrack this just a little bit. There we go. Okay. So, being the player that I am, I try to always scout. And the first thing I notice is that there is no Barracks, no command center, no nothing in his base. So I immediately grab another drone and I start waypointing him around my base to try to find where he is building something, because he is building something somewhere. I'm sure of it. So we continue on, and boom. So he has his Proxy 2Rax. He already has a guy out, so I go ahead and retreat back in. Immediately throw down my extractor and start working. Now I start getting a few Lings, because he's got 2 racks, Proxy 2Raxing it, and he's already taking out my base down there. So I go ahead and get in gas, and I come down and I notice that he is working on bunkers. So I try to take down one of his SCVs. It fails. So I retreat back into my base, waypoint everything back up in, and I immediately throw down a Roach Warren. Back when I first started Zerg, I had a lot of trouble with these kind of Proxy 2Rax builds that threw down bunkers in my natural. So what I started doing, and this is actually, I haven't been doing it lately, normally what I would do is I would throw down, and my second overlord would be in my natural until this base was up. I've become more comfortable with my scouting prowess to the point where I know the only time I ever leave an overlord in my natural while my natural is building is when I'm fighting against Protoss for proxy pylons and cannon rushes. But against Terran and Zerg, I don't bother with it anymore. So we're going to go ahead and continue on here. And I know that there's no way I can do this with Lings. So I go ahead and continue on, and I managed to kill that SCV off so he can no longer continue production on that bunker for right now. And I just sit back. So we'll go ahead and turn the production tab back on again. So we're just pumping out some Lings until my thing. And these Lings, they're just cannon fodder. I'm just trying to hold them back long enough for these Roaches to get out, which 3 are working. And as soon as that first one comes out, Roaches, I have found, are the best unit to kind of defend against this type of deal. Normally, versus Terran, I go a Mutalisks. So, Lings and Banelings are my ground forces, but in these kinds of fights, I need Roaches to bust those bunkers down. I'd also withdrew out of gas just so I could get some minerals up, and I go ahead and continue on rebuilding now. Now, because he hasn't built a command center up until now, I am actually slightly ahead of him in economy, I do believe. Let's go ahead and check the income. Where's it at? Resources. Income. Okay, so I am considerably ahead of him in income right now. We've got 600 minerals to 160. Now he does have more gas than me, but right now I don't need gas. I just need to get my mineral income up and off the ground so that I can get my 2 bases up and start working toward my 3rd. So let's go ahead and go back to the production tab. I continue to build a few more roaches just to defend anything that comes in, because they'll be able to tear through. And I go ahead and send a Ling out to go ahead and scout around just to make sure that he's not coming back with any kind of proxy. And we go ahead and get our 2nd base up and running and start working on a few more roaches. Now while we were building that 2nd, we also went ahead and got Lair up. That way, as soon as we have the gas, we can start working on our normal build, which is we want Mutalisks out for anti-air and to switch back to Banelings. So we're going to get this all set up. We go ahead and get out an Overseer just in case they come in with Widow Mines. And we get back up to a full 2 base saturation. Now I took a pretty heavy hit on the economy wise, losing precious time, but we did manage to recover quite well. So now it's time we go ahead and throw down our Spire as well as our 2 Evo chambers. I never do one, I always do 2 Evo chambers, because no matter what, I'm always going to be either I'll be getting armor, and then depending on whether I'm going Roach or Hydra, it will either be melee or range. So I always like to get 2 because I can work on both at the same time. I also go ahead and get my Banelings Nest since I will no longer be reusing Roaches after this point. Mutaling Bling will go ahead and continue. And it does very well for what I need it to do. Roaches, unless he's going super heavy mech, there's no real need for me to go ahead and continue using Roaches. Now he does start these little drops and attacks, and I notice just as that happening, he's killing things over here. So I go ahead and split up my forces and half of them over here, and I leave the other half in my base, because sure enough, he continues to drop both. Just as my Mutalisks are coming out, so I go ahead and send my Mutalisks chasing this medevac away. Now, he does start to drop off his units, so he does manage to save his units, but my Mutalisks are still able to take out a few things there. So we go ahead, our 3rd base is up, so we immediately completely saturate it. It's one of the things I love about being Zerg is you can immediately saturate everything. I do get, wow, not pylon blocked, Overseer blocked, supply blocked here in just a minute, and we go ahead and throw down our 4th as well. From those of you that have been watching my latest videos, I tend to play a little bit more on the greedy side when I'm more comfortable. And we've got quite a bit going on. We've got 3 upgrades going. Plus 2/2 for melee and armor ground units, and plus 1 attack for those, as well as some Overlord speed so our Overseer can keep up. We did notice he was putting down his 3rd, so we went ahead and went to go kill that. I do believe he canceled it, because it kind of disappeared quickly. And we go ahead and come in here, and we're going to start taking out some of these production buildings, kind of cut his production down just a little bit. Now I do suffer quite a few losses with these Mutalisks, but nothing too bad. I feel like I'm making pretty decent progress shutting down his production just a little bit. My economy is very comfortable right now, so and what isn't until he brings in all of his forces with the medevacs that do I bother pulling out my Mutalisks. Go ahead and throw down an infestation pit because I need to get Hive going so I can get my 3/3. And we also go ahead and start maxing out on our army. Use all of our gas on Mutalisks, then get some Lings. And then once we have all of those Lings, we also go ahead and morph quite a few Banelings just to knock down the walls. So we move those just out of sight of his scans for the time being, and we're going to go ahead and pull down our Mutalisks again to kind of draw his line of sight. He has quite a few towers up, but the massive Mutalisks I have make quite a bit of damage to him. We knock out quite a few Marines, and while we're doing that, we're also going to be pulling down our Lings and Banelings. Just using the mini-map to attack right now. We're just going to have a steady stream of them into his base. He has that one tank there, and he goes ahead and GG's it. Now, the reason I wanted to show this video and continue on with another ZvT right after I did the one earlier tonight is because of the Proxy 2Raxing that he did here. I actually haven't seen this build in several months. But I felt kind of, I guess I could say, a little bit smug that I was able to defend that and come back and whoop up on him. Because while he was doing it, he didn't bother continuing to expand at home. Had he attempted the 2Rax while also building his second, he probably would have been a lot more successful with that build. So when I did start playing again, when I started this new session, I did lose a couple of games. There were quite a few little early, quick snippet attacks, but still, as far as today's session goes, it's still about 8-3. This one was, what was this one? Oh, this was just a timing attack. Immortal Sentry, charge lot heavy, and the few Roaches and Lings that I had were not able to hold that off because I was focusing on my economy. Let's see, what are the other two that I lost? Merry-Go-Round. This was, yeah, I think this was, yep, this was just a full-on Ling assault, and I believe I had Roaches going. So, his Lings got in and overwhelmed just came in, killed my economy. My Roaches weren't able to clean that up as fast. Oh, and this was the last one, which I believe this was a proxy, or a quick timing attack. So, anyways, and then I came back and I won the next two. So, I'm still at 8-4. So far today, we've got a 66% win rate. I'm quite pleased with that. Those 3 losses did push me back down to rank 2. I think one more win will put me back up at rank 1. Yeah, about one more win should put me back over that. Really, the biggest thing is I'm just trying to push the envelope and trying to get the game to go hey and push that promotion up. Anyways, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.